there, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I'm not doing too shabby. So in a recent video, I don't even remember which one it was, I made a comment about how it's been a while since I've done a tour, so to speak, of my Book of Light. I call it a Book of Light, Grimoire, Book of Shadows. Those are your more traditional titles. I call mine a Book of Light because for me, light is about illumination, and it's about learning, and it's about knowledge. And so my Book of Light is where I store my knowledge. And so, well, there you have it. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of my Book of Light, and yeah, it is a highly personal thing. I've had several Book of Lights in the past. I know that I've done videos and probably blog posts on them or on this subject before, so I'll link some things in the description box. And so you can kind of see the steps and learn how I've, gotten to the point where I'm at. But here is my current Book of Light. I removed some pages. So this particular binder that I have is one that I found a number of years ago. And so I believe whatever video it was that I talked about doing a walkthrough, you saw this book on the shelf behind me, and it was like gaped open like this because there was so many pages in it. I was lucky enough that I have found a book from the same company that made this one. And so if you're interested, it's called Simple Stories, and it originally came out as like scrapbooking stuff, I believe, or it might have been planners. I don't really remember. This came as a kit, and it had some really thick like card. I can never remember what it's called. Cardboard. It's like thicker than cardstock. Little dividers were in it, and there were some plastic sheet protectors. And I've used some of them, some of the sheet protectors in here. But like the dividers, I opted to not use them because they were really thick. And I'm like, I can't afford to lose that amount of space in the binder. But anyhow, I found one from the same company that has the same binder, because this has two rings. And so the binder was actually just a plain brown paper, and I decoupaged what we have on the front here. So this is it's not even cardstock, this background. The background is scrapbooking paper, and then this is a graphic that I found and printed and decoupaged it all on. So, and I see that I've got a little lifting here that I need to deal with. So I pulled out all of my spell work pages from this book. I have my information kind of organized, and you'll see that as we kind of walk through it. But I've pulled out all my spell pages, and those are going to go in that new binder as soon as it arrives, which will hopefully be in a couple of days. Spells, I tend to not share here. There's just something about it that I didn't want to share that in this media, so you'll probably never see a lot of spell work in that way. Just like I don't say words of power too often, if ever. But anyhow, so let's go down to the table here, and I will show you what my Book of Light looks like now. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we have the cover. As I said in the intro, this book, this black binding here it's kind of like a cloth tape, it feels like, and that came as part of the binder, and I glued on this scrapbook paper and this hat. I will show you like really briefly, there is a bracket on the side here that's got an opening at the top. Whoops, there's an opening at the top that I could slide something down in there if I wanted to. Just not something that I've ever done. So here is the cover. I wanted to do a book of light that had a steampunk theme to it. So that is going to be the prevalent theme that you see throughout this book. I printed everything on computer paper, and I tea stained everything. So if you're interested in more information on that, then we can cover that at some other time, I guess. In the beginning here, I just have a little pocket. Let's see, can you see that? I'm trying to, there we go. There's a little pocket here with some sigil work in there, just some things that I want to store. But here we are in the main bit. And so I'm going to try to go through this like as quickly as possible. So if you have questions on anything, then let me know and I can cover it in the comments or via an email message. Okay, so here we have a witch's wheel that's used for sigil making. Here's one of the plastic sheet protectors that came with the binder. I feel like I could use something that tilts this, because I feel like maybe that will help. Put a book underneath it just to kind of tilt it towards the camera a little bit. So witch's wheel, I put it in a sheet protector so that if I wanted, I could use a dry erase marker to draw sigil work. This I got out of Christopher's Outer Temple of Witchcraft, page 307. If you're interested in more information on this, one thing that I will encourage you guys to do with information like this is to cite your sources. If at all possible, it'll just make it easier. And here I've got a little note. This is my reference section. And so eventually I do want to have a tab here that says reference. I'm just not sure how I want to go about doing that. So, you know, let's see if I can keep everything in the frame. Oh yeah, this will work nicely. So here's a representation of the Tree of Life. This is the cosmology that I follow in my own practice. Oh gosh, I'm gonna kind of turn the page quickly here. This is my code of ethics. I forgot that was there. Not something that I necessarily want to share. So that's just my rules of what I follow. And then I have here, these are my animal spirits that I work with. So I was able to find stickers for most of them and put them in their proper locations. And so here is some information on my animal guides and how they work with me. So that I thought was kind of interesting to incorporate into this book. Couple of blank pages. That is because my patron and matron, god and goddess, I plan on doing a page for each of them with some prayer work, things like that. So in the future, this is one of the things I'm working on. There will be a page for Odin and a page for Breed. So that's coming. Here is some information on the mighty dead taken from Christopher Penzak's Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft. Some information that I wanted to be able to reference. Here we have the Kabbalic Tree of Life for reference with all of the sphere names and such. Here we have how the 3 pillars associate with the Tree of Life. So severity, mildness, and mercy. This is all part of your 4th year of study with the temple. So I wanted to make sure that I included that. Here we have information on entities that you will find in the 3 different worlds. So that was good. And some offerings that you can give to them. Offering suggestions. Here's information on the 3 selves. And see, here's one of the things that I didn't note where it came from. I'm pretty sure that this probably came from the Three Rays book, but oftentimes I would take things that I wanted to be able to reference and I would photocopy them and then do the tea staining and such. And so this is just good information that I wanted to be able to reference myself. Here we have a depiction of the three selves with some notes that I wanted to remember on the three selves. More information on the Three Rays. And I actually, now that I've got my glass pen, I'm reminded that I wanted to make something pretty that said Three Rays that I would put here for that reference point. So that's one thing. I use Post-it notes to remind me of things that I want to add into this. So this is definitely a work in process, and it always will be. So that's just one thing to kind of remember and know. Here's another one of those sheet protectors. So this is actually like 4 little different slots. So I have stuff in here like the invoking and banishing pentacles for each of the directions. I have general invoking and banishing pentacles, that kind of information. Symbols for the degrees in the Temple of Witchcraft. Invoking and banishing spirals. Oh, you might not be able to see that. Let's shift. I'm trying to keep an eye on everything. And then here we have chakra information. So general chakra diagram with some notes on the side here. There's some pullouts for the layers of your aura and how they relate to the chakras. Also some additional chakra information here. Oh, sorry. That I was able to make a little pull out. You know, I was trying to make things fun, and I was trying to make things easy to reference. And so, yeah. Little pockets are fun. Little cards that pull out make things easier. I can take that out and use that in a class presentation or something without having to have the whole entire page if I, needed to. Here we have a depiction of the witch's pyramid, and this is from the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. Christopher talks about that there. Here we have the Eightfold Path of Altered Consciousness. So these are your 8 pathways for trance work. So your meditation, breath control, isolation, things like that. That kind of information. Oop. Too many pages. Here we have the Hermetic principles listed out and what they mean. And the laws of magic. So this is just, again, points of reference so that I can have them quickly to refer back to. This is all Tree of Life information. So again, more pullouts, and some of them I either put scrap paper on, or I will put additional artwork there. So I love pockets. I thought this was really cool. This is the Tree of Life, and the so each pathway between the spheres, there is a tarot card that is that coincides with it. And so this is a quick resource to say, the Fool goes with path number 0, or, whatever the number is. I probably got it wrong. Don't judge me. But, that's there that I can reference it if I like. So I just got to get it back in the pocket. There we go. Here we have some more offering ideas for different entities. Inner Temple gateways of consciousness. So yeah, so that's there's gateways when you in your inner temple. So these are a list of what they are. Stages of bread, labors of Hercules, shamanic tools here. Oh, here's some examples of putting artwork on one side, and then on the other side is the information. So there's the tree breathing meditation and meditation postures in shamanic work. So those are kind of cool to tuck in the pocket there, right? I was looking for lots of washi tapes that I could use on all of my edges just to kind of keep things neat and clean. Here we've got the zodiac signs, gifts of the goddess, some quick reference for tarot cards, meanings, Ogham information. What do we? Oh, 4-penny divination and some more tarot references. So this is like the divination section, basically. Oh, oops! I pulled this out of the wrong thing. Numerology. Blank page, ready for something. That's not quite there yet. Here's a cute little pocket. I've noticed that on Pinterest there is a ton of tarot layouts that are available, and so I printed them and just kind of, cut them out, and I have them in this little pocket. I don't use a lot of different tarot layouts, just because I'm at a point in my life where I don't do a lot of tarot readings anymore. But if I wanted to, then there's some there that I can reference. I'm not sure that I love this idea, but in order to put all of them on separate pages, the book was already getting pretty thick, and so I just opted to put them in the pocket for now. That may change, may not, we'll see. Again, blank page here. Here we have some symbols for angels. And another blank page. This is actually me making an attempt to use all of my paper, because this paper size is roughly 8.5 from top to bottom. And I want to say that the dimension on a regular page like this was something like 6 inches or something like that. So I would use a regular piece of cardstock for the paper, and this much was cut off. And so this is me attempting to not waste things. And so that's why you see a lot of things in that size. I'm just trying to use it, use it up basically. Now we're entering into the Sabbats and moon information here in the book. So I've got this beautiful representation of the wheel of the year that I love. So here is, when I talk about the Sabbats, we talk about the journey that the god and the goddess take throughout the course of the year. And so this is something that we got from our Keepers of the Hearth lessons that just really felt right to me. And so I included them separately. So this is the goddess's journey through the Sabbats. And the gods will appear later. Here I've got the full moon names for the year. Oh, I forgot. There's a pullout here. Here is Sabbat correspondences. So when I say that, there's stones, colors, symbols, food, deities that are associated with each of our holidays. And so this is information that I present in my videos that I do about the incense and foods. So I would reference you to those videos, and there's a playlist for those. But that's a little pullout for that. Here is some correspondence information for each of the full moons. This is a reference that I found online somewhere, and I just loved it. There's like a tarot card that's associated and things like that. And so that's not necessarily my work. That's something that I found. If you're interested in that information, I don't think I necessarily want to make a blog post about it, but if you're interested in that information, let me know, and maybe I'll email you. That seems a little safer, but that's what this information is. So a tarot, herbs, colors that all associate with each of the full moons for the year. Okay. And then, so that's completing that. And here we have a little pocket that has information on the lunar mansions and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of tuck that into a little pocket. I love all of the moon imagery that I was able to find. That was like fun for me. That's some notes that I don't need. And here's the God's Journey on this particular page. And then this opens up, and these are those Sabbath incense recipes with the charge incantations on them. So again, this is information that I present in my Sabbath videos. So I would reference you to go there for more information. And we're turning the page. This is moon phase magic. This is information like what kind of intention would you want to work towards magically. So again, this is like a reference point that I can go back and look at. Okay. Now we're going into rituals and prayers section. Oh, and that's apparently something that I need to... I haven't taped that down yet. Whoops. So here we have the Charge of the Goddess and the Wiccan Reed. Oh, it's another pullout. Sorry. Wiccan Reed. Here is the Charge of the God. Drawing down the moon. This one. Here we have an animal invocation for honoring them. That's a nice little ritual there. Where did I find that? That's in the Witch's Book of Self-Care by Erin Murphy Hiscock. So that's something that I typed in here so that I could, include that in my practice. Full moon practice for wealth. Ritual to connect your world. Connect to your world. That's another ritual that was in that self-care book. So much good information. Blank page. Oath of the Great Work. That's something that was temple related. Ritual to review your spiritual beliefs. So again, kind of a nice pull out that I can pull that out when I want to do that ritual. Here we have the invocation of the three rays and some divine triquetra ritual. A prayer for psychic power. And some of these, some might consider spell work, but I kind of put it in the ritual section. Here's a shamanic smudging ritual here in a pocket. Aligning the three selves chant. Here is the ritual that I use to consecrate new tools. And this comes from Scott Cunningham, from his guide for a solitary practitioner. That was like the first ritual that I came across for tool consecration, and it works perfect, and I've never written one for myself or sought another one. So that's from Baby Witch days. Here we have a deathbed ritual that I found that I thought would be nice to kind of have handy. So these are all death things. So a prayer for one who has died violently. That's from Starhawk. And then an ancestor's prayer. So these are all things, again, that I wanted to be able to pull out and access if I needed. So that is some death rituals. And I would like to expand my death rituals. I just haven't had a need to do so yet. A prayer for entering your Akashic record room. This is from Jackie Smith's book. It was Jackie and her sister Patty, Do-It-Yourself Akashic Wisdom. That was a really good book, and one that I did a review on. So check that book out if you're interested in Akashic record information. A morning prayer, a daily kickoff ritual, again in little pullouts. And then end of day ritual and bedtime prayer. So these are just things that I'm kind of referencing back here. And those are all from that book of self-care. There's a lot of neat little rituals that are in that book of self-care by Erin Murphy Hiscock. And I I copied many of them and put them into my book for reference. And then the back cover that currently doesn't have anything, but you know, that may change whenever I get the need to do so. So there's a walkthrough of my information as I have it. I do have a couple of other things that I want to add in here. In the divination section, I know I've got some information on tea leaf reading that I want to explore. And I think there was one other thing too, that I don't remember what it was, but that's the book as it stands right now. And so, yeah, so, what do you guys think? This has been a labor of, a labor of love, I guess, a bit, and a labor of crazy. And I know that I, took on a lot of, I knew that this was going to be something that took a lot of time, but I also cultivated the information that I knew that I wanted in my Book of Light. And so that's what I have here. This is information that I know that I want, that I know that it's in one place, and I can grab it and go. So, what's your Book of Shadows like? Your grimoire like? I want to know, do you have a video on your grimoire? I'd love to see it. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it or learned something from it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button, and I guess hitting the bell notification is a good thing too. There's going to be links in the description box for social media, for both myself and Kathy on Instagram, the Facebook page, things like that. That's going to be it for today. Thanks for walking the path for a little while with me, and until next time, blessed be.